Thanks, Jen. How do you walk us through the events of the last 24 hours? Last night, a senior administration official on a background call with reporters briefed them on the administration's response and said that Russia's occupied these regions since 2014, and that Russian troops moving into the Donbass would not itself be a new step, and didn't use the word invasion. This morning, the Deputy National Security Advisor said invasion. The president is using invasion. What changed in the last 24 hours? What did you see on the ground that changed the U.S. government's assessment of what is actually happening in Eastern Ukraine?
Sure. Well, I'm not going to, I know this isn't exactly what you're asking, but just to set the precedent here, I'm not going to be confirming military movements from the podium now or at any point, probably. But what I can tell you is what we looked at is the events of the last less than 24 hours, Zeke, right? And what we have seen is President Putin setting up a rationale to take more territory by force. What we're basing that on, including the comments of the Deputy National Security Advisor this morning, and then the President's comments later in the afternoon, is a couple of things. One, Vladimir Putin announced yesterday that he was basically planning to carve out a chunk of Ukraine by recognizing 2 regions of Ukraine as independent. He brazenly asserted these regions are no longer part of Ukrainian sovereign territory. Last night, he authorized Russian forces to deploy into these regions. Today, he sought authorization from the Duma for the Russian military to use force outside of Russian territory. And today, he asserted that these regions actually extend deeper into Ukraine, claiming larger areas currently under jurisdiction of the Ukrainian government. So what we're seeing there, and as for anybody who read or paid attention to his lengthy speech last night, is the rationale to go much further. That is what we are also watching very closely. And for this combination of reasons, we see this as the beginning of a further invasion of Ukraine. But we look at and we assess over the course of a short period of time.
But right now, could you say whether or not the U.S. government believes that there's been additional deployments of Russian forces, active forces, across the border into Ukraine? They've been there for years, but additional forces?
I'm not going to get into military assessments of military movements from here.
And then